A Veronica Swift Mystery. Dedication. For my family, who have been waiting for an adult book. Chapter 1. The snow crunched under the tires of my brother's Ford Explorer as we climbed the mountain to Last Resort and Spa, with boxes and boxes of shoes I made packed in the back on their way to a better home than my mom's shed, my own shop. Ah, I said, unable to contain my excitement any longer. I can't believe this is happening. Teddy laughed. Well, get used to it, sis. This is happening. How are you so calm right now? I asked, turning to him surprised. He shrugged his big shoulders. It's not my shop, and I know you're going to do great. I rolled my eyes. I meant about the wedding. It's in like 5 days, and you have had no sudden I can't get married moments, and you're marrying Courtney, so I'm not exactly sure how it's possible for you to be this relaxed. Oh, he said, grinning. I just know this is what we're supposed to do. This is the next step, and it's right. I sat back in my seat again. If you say so. I think she's crazy. Trust me, I know full well what you think of her. But like with your shop, this is happening. Courtney is a splendid girl when you get to know her. I sighed. If that's true, she only lets the people she is getting to know get to know her. If you know what I mean, I said, wiggling my eyebrows. He punched me lightly on the shoulder. She just wants to prove to everyone that she's more than a pretty face. I could have continued disagreeing with him to assure him that everyone knows she was more than a pretty face, because everyone knew, at least all the women knew, she was also a powerhouse of manipulation. But he was one of the victims, and there was no point in causing problems between the two of us. Turn it up. This is one of my favorites, I said, bobbing my head along with the music. Oh, this is that song from the new Grinch movie, right? New? It's been out for like 3 years now, Teddy dear, I said, patting his arm. You know what I mean. Is that you, Santa Claus? I like it. It's like old-timey jazz, he said, singing perfectly in time with the song. I rolled my eyes again. I do know what you mean, but just so you know, this song has been around long before the animated Grinch movie. Really? Yes, you big dummy. It was originally played by the one and only Louis Armstrong. That's why it sounds like old-timey jazz, I told him, because it is, and one of the greats, might I add. We reached the top of the mountain, and Teddy took a left onto the main road for the Last Resort and Spa's shopping district. And yes, this resort was so big it had its own shopping district. People littered the mountainside like a garbage truck had lost a bag on the side of the road. The chairlift was constantly in motion, taking up ski-clad patrons wrapped up to their noses in winter gear that would hopefully keep them from getting hypothermia. My stomach tossed and turned again. What if this is a bad idea? I asked as we pulled in front of my little shop with the coming soon sign plastered on the door. I could see the boxes and half set up shelves from the parking spot reserved for my shop. The irony was that I'd never use it except on days like today. I didn't drive and felt that life operated much better that way, at least for me. Of course, that left me at the mercy of drivers. Just relax, Ron. You still have to set everything up. I bet you'll feel much more capable when everything is up and on display, like you're picturing in that brain of yours. I mean, what shoe store has wrought iron shelves and a classic cash register? I grinned. Mine. He laughed, rolling his eyes. Exactly, yours. And you've been building up to owning your own store for 5 years now. It's finally happening. No more making shoes in Mom's basement. No more having to listen to 20-year-old soaps on full blast at 11 o'clock at night unless that's what you want, he said, as we got out of the car and started unloading boxes from it. Besides, now you get to live with your best friend in a little cabin in the woods, a voice behind me said, mirth radiating through the words. I turned to find a tall, red-haired woman, her skin still holding a bronze undertone even in winter. She grinned at me, her green eyes twinkling. Well, look who has perfect timing, I said, grinning back. Come get these boxes so I can unlock the door. She laughed and collected them from me. I opened the door wide to let them inside and let the door fall shut behind them, going back to the car for more stock. You know what I still can't believe? Angie, my best friend since, well, forever, was asking Teddy as she came back outside, is how she's making so many shoes in just 5 years. I mean, she acts like she has a normal life, but then she does this. She gestured at the boxes already lining the floor in the shop. How does she do it? I don't sleep, I said, winking as I passed her. We'll be great roommates. You sleep like the dead, and I don't sleep at all. Wait, you don't clean in the middle of the night like Monk, do you? Angie hollered after me. I just laughed and went inside. The interior of my shop, which was heated to keep the glass windows from cracking, was a stark contrast to the ice-numbing cold of the outdoors. I placed the boxes I was carrying on the floor, hurrying over to let Teddy and Angie back in with their last batch of stock. Did you also make the shoe boxes? Angie asked, looking over at them with a discerning eye. No, I got them printed in Burlington. Aren't they cute? I asked, holding one up and examining my logo design work once again. Yes, and very Veronica Swift, if I do say so myself, Angie laughed. So, how about we whip soulmates into shape? The grand opening is in 3 days. Like I could forget that, I said, rolling my eyes. She smiled cheekily. And yet you stand there goggling at your boxes. Fine, you're right. Let's get to work. Teddy, can you help me set up the rest of the shelves and the display shelves? Of course, he said, taking off his winter coat and rolling up the sleeves of his flannel shirt. Show me the tools. We worked for a steady 3 or 4 hours setting up shelves and then filling those shelves with the boxes of shoes I made. It was amazing to see all the hard work I'd done over the past 5 years en masse on the walls. Angie came over and stood beside me, her arm on my shoulder. It occurs to me I've never asked you how to make shoes. I mean, I knew you were making shoes, but I just accepted it as a thing you did because you are one crafty lady, and I knew you were very capable. But I never really considered the process of making a shoe, like the tools you need and the time it takes to create. I laughed. Well, you know all those wooden feet I have stored under the counter? Yeah, those are weird. I figured it was the mold for your shoes, though. Yeah, they are, when I'm creating standard size shoes to sell. That's what we've got on the walls here. Shoes that I made by hand, replicated in different sizes. Granted, because they are all handmade, they aren't exactly alike. They are still more generic than the part of the shop I'm really excited about, I said. With those, I find the right size last. That's what the wooden shoes are called. And I build the shoe from the inside out, starting with the inner sole of the shoe. What's the part you're really excited about then? I'm going to offer custom shoes, which is a lot more work, but I will be able to specifically design shoes that fit that person's feet. That's cool, Angie said, raising an eyebrow at me. Yeah, because it means I can make sure that the shoe supports the foot the way it needs to for that foot, because I designed the last for each foot. Oh, that is cool. Yeah, she even made a pair for Courtney, Teddy said, sliding the last box of shoes onto the shelf and stepping back with us to admire our work. There was a dinging noise from Teddy's back pocket. He pulled out his cell phone, checking his messages. When I make the custom shoes, though, I can also tailor the shoe to their style, which is also really fun. I don't know, Ronnie. I think you have some fun making these shoes. Angie said, looking over at a pair of candy cane heeled shoes I made specifically for the opening of Soulmates. The heel part looked like an actual candy cane, and the shoe was a shiny red leather with a candy cane charm on the toes. I shrugged. I like a challenge, and trying to give people what they want without giving them what they say they want. That's a challenge I enjoy. You did that with Courtney's shoes? Angie asked alarmed. She'll eat you for breakfast. I shook my head vehemently. No, that's not a challenge, that's a death wish, and I don't have one of those. Speaking of Courtney, Ronnie, would you like to go with me to have lunch with her? Teddy asked, looking at his phone. She's asking me to meet her in 5. I tried to keep from sighing. I didn't want to keep getting into arguments with him about the woman he was marrying, but it was a little difficult when she was so difficult. Yeah, that's fine, I said, focusing hard on folding the box lid I had in my hands, making sure it sat on the box precisely. Actually, Teddy, I was hoping I could snack her away for lunch. There are some ladies at Enchanted Breeds and Teas I want her to get to know. There are other shop owners. I think it would be good for her to socialize now. Teddy grinned. Way to back her up there, Stuart. What are best friends for? Of course you can take her. I don't want her missing out on vital business meetings. Besides, that gives me more time to spend with my future wife, uninhibited by my sister's enormous sighs of impatience. Hey, I'm trying to do better. I can't help that I don't like this woman. She gives me icky vibes, I said, placing the box I was holding onto the counter with the others that were folded and empty. I wanted to have a stash of boxes ready to go in case I got a bunch of custom orders. Keep your vibes to yourself, he said, messing my hair up as he passed to get his jacket. Oh, hey, can you come get the leather working stuff out of you left in the trunk? I don't want someone thinking I'm making meth or something. I'm a cop after all. Angie stopped. Wait, you can use that stuff for drugs? What are you doing making shoes? You'll make more with the drugs. La la la. Teddy set his fingers in his ears. I rolled my eyes. No, they're not used in the making of drugs, at least not as far as I'm aware of. Teddy zipped up his coat. To the car, he announced, leading the way. He walked out the door, and Angie made faces at his back. He turned around quickly, and she stopped. Caught you that time. Angie laughed. It's taken you 20 years to catch me making funny faces at your back, she said, pulling on her jacket and following him out, with me right behind them. Well, I didn't know you were doing it until a couple of months ago. 20 years? Yeah, Teddy, 20 years, Angie said, patting his shoulder before grabbing one of the tote bags of sealers and conditioners I used for the leather I worked with from the car. I grabbed a bag and followed Angie back inside the shop. But came back out and gathered the last couple of tools I had still floating around in the back. Teddy got in the driver's seat and looked back through the car at us. So, I'll be back around 1:30 in the afternoon to finish the shelves, and then I'll take you home. Actually, Angie already has my room ready for me in her cabin, so I thought I would stay the night. Hence the ginormous bag I threw on the back seat. Oh, is that why it's so big? Teddy asked. I thought it was just your purse. Angie shook her head. Teddy, 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 you have so much to learn about women. Maybe before you get married, I added. Teddy glared at me. I threw my hands up in the air. Or learn on the job. That's viable too.
All right, that concludes chapter 1 of A Pickled Wedding by Ember Mae. Thank you so much for listening. I hope to see you here next time. Have a fantastic day, be blessed, and go shine your light on the world. I'll see you next time.